My name is Charles Lewis. I'm a founding member of the Birmingham Change Fund. I'm also past immediate chair of the Community Investment Network Board of Directors and still a board member. So again, I said I would like to welcome you, for all the folks that have come far and wide from all over the nation to be here in Birmingham to celebrate the Community Investment Network. This year, our theme is philanthropic renaissance, illuminating creative expressions of giving. And so, as we talk about a renaissance, there's a couple things I want to get out as I welcome. And,
Charles, I got this.
okay, this is LaDon Sullivan.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Well, they said renaissance. Hello. So, Charles, I actually just wanted to say I get this renaissance thing. Okay. I got it. Okay. Y'all see this? I got it. Hello, look at the picture. We got it. So we're talking about the Renaissance, which a lot of us know that way back in the day, in the Dark Ages, when books and science were withheld by those who were in positions of power to control the masses, the Renaissance really could be identified as a new way of thinking.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you, LaDon. Thank you. Y'all give her a round of applause. So LaDon, yes, that is a renaissance of sort. This renaissance that we're talking about is a little bit different. And I'll start to talk a little bit about how it's different. This renaissance, like we said, it's a philanthropic renaissance, illuminating creative expressions of giving. The Community Investment Network has several core values, one of which, similar to the European Renaissance, we have something that we hold true, which is learning-centered practices. So we don't hold knowledge to ourselves to kind of keep people down. We actually spread knowledge to help build capacity throughout our nation. And so that's one of the things we'll be doing here throughout the rest of the weekend. So
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right. So
Excuse me.
LaDon Sullivan again. Go ahead.
So, okay, Charles, since you just wrecked my whole European Renaissance thing, I see how you're making the correlations and everything, but, I actually thought of another Renaissance period that may better define what we're doing.
Which one?
So I really am thinking about the Harlem Renaissance. This is when the empowerment of people of color was used. Basically, the empowerment came through the arts and through an economic empowerment. And I even got my Zora Neale Hurston hat. So I actually think that the Harlem Renaissance better describes what we're doing here this weekend.
Well, of sorts. Okay, thank you again, LaDon. Let's give her a round of applause one more time. So as I was about to go on, I mentioned one of our 5 core values within the Community Investment Network. And so similar to the Harlem Renaissance, 2 other of our core values are philanthropic leadership and inclusive philanthropy. Similar to the Harlem Renaissance and philanthropic leadership, we encourage folks to stand up, be accounted for, and be empowered on changing their community towards what they want to see, the ways that they want to see it. And we also include, people of color at the table, sitting at the table, making decisions in organized philanthropy. And so thank you again. So we talked about, okay, all right. One more time, LaDon Sullivan.
Sorry, but you've kicked out 2 ideas.
Right.
I'm just saying, I don't want to put you on the spot. I am the board chair. You're the
You are,
board chair.
yeah.
So really, you should be going with what I'm saying instead of me having to go with what you're saying.
True that.
Okay, I just wanted to point out that hierarchy of power. Y'all see that? Okay. I think now, like there's several people in this room that would agree with me with the next, the example that I have.
What's that?
And that is the hip hop renaissance. Fight the power. Hello. So, hip hop really gave a voice to young people as they addressed the social ills and injustice that was happening in the world. And, I know they have their beret, but a sister got to have a little bow or something on the front. So You know, I really think that this will best describe what we're going to be doing this weekend, how we're going to be focusing, and
Okay.
you know.
All right. Well, thank you again. Thank you again. Y'all give her another round of applause. And so yet again, our new chair of the board has yet again explained a little bit better two other of our core values for the Community Investment Network. And so tying this to the hip hop renaissance, the renaissance we're talking about really is one of dealing with social justice and equity, and also collective influence. And so in that case, just like in the hip hop renaissance, dealt with a lot of social change, and that's one of the core values you'll see throughout the Community Investment Network. And also the power of collective influence. Giving circles that we deal with are all about the power of collective influence. So unless LaDon's got any other renaissance to come back and explain again. All right. Well, but again, I hope y'all enjoyed that, but this renaissance we're talking about really embodies several different types of renaissance. And so that being said, this renaissance, again, is illuminating creative expressions of giving. So our vehicle is giving and organized philanthropy. And that's what we're here to celebrate this weekend and learn a little bit more about. So thank you. I'll turn it over to you.
People can tell you about what they're going to do, and you can try to imagine it in your mind. But until you actually see what in the world they're talking about, then it all begins to make sense. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Lord Watson Jr., and I am one of the founding members of the Birmingham Change Fund, and I'm also the vice chair of the Community Investment Network. And it is my honor and privilege to again extend you a warm welcome to Birmingham, the Magic City. I never imagined when I started this journey back in 2004, talking about community philanthropy and being strategic and giving circles, that we will have this conversation in this place on this day. So for those who are outside of the city, today represents a special day of remembrance. Today is 1 year ago that Reverend Fred Shuttlesworth passed into eternity. And so to be here in this place to talking about philanthropic renaissance and illuminative creative expressions of giving is very personal to me. When I first thought about this topic, and I thought about the history of Birmingham and about what does philanthropy mean. And so one of the things that we've done is that we are demystifying what the word philanthropy means. So oftentimes we don't use the word philanthropy because sometimes we're scared of the word, or we haven't heard of the word, or what have you. But philanthropy, if you break it down into its fundamental parts, to philo, meaning love, and anthropy, coming from anthropos, meaning mankind. Philanthropy means love of mankind. And so how do we show the love of mankind? Well, it's through our time, our talents, as well as our treasures. Now, I'm not going to downplay those who are able to give a lot of money. They are needed. But we all know that if money could get rid of the social ills, then some of the social ills that we face would already have been taken care of. But the fact of the matter is, it takes a partnership between money and resources, being time and talent. And so that's what we celebrate when we talk about illuminating creative expressions of giving. For those who have mastered not only the giving of money, but also have mastered the giving of time and talent. Mastering meaning that we're becoming more intentional about what we do and how we do it. Because the thing about philanthropy is that it changes things. So philanthropy, it's not charity that you just serve a problem. No, when you give with the expectation of a return on your investment. And that expectation is to move the needle and to see things changed. And so when I think about the history of Birmingham and being here, what did some of our forefathers give? They gave something that was more than just their money. They gave something more than just their time. Oftentimes, a father would give his child because somebody had to be the first person to integrate high school and middle schools. Oftentimes, some people gave their lives just so we would have the opportunity to stand in the gather and to meet in this place, united throughout all of the different nationalities and colors that I see in this place today. And so this is a very personal subject. I don't know about me, but I hope it comes to you. So I'm excited to have this panel discussion talking about legacy and giving. And I think I kind of shocked my panel. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that up front. I told them that we're very laid back, and it was apparent because when they asked me, well, what do you want us to sit? Anywhere at the front, it didn't matter. Everybody was gonna talk, and so they looked at me like I was crazy, but that's okay. Just know that the thing about CIN is we're a family, and we've had conversations about philanthropy and giving, and you're like family, and so we're just connecting family. It's all a family reunion. All right. So I'm going to give a little bit of background history on our speakers, and then we will get on with the program. Our first speaker tonight, his name is Michelle Cleming. Michelle is a native of Birmingham and is a product of the Birmingham City Schools. She received her Bachelor of Arts degree in history from Yale University in 1996 and a law degree from Columbia Law School in 1999. As a licensed attorney, she practiced labor and employment law for a number of years with Maynard, Cooper, and Gale. More recently, Michelle served as Vice President of Human Resources and Community Affairs for McWane, Inc., a Birmingham-based manufacturer of propane cylinders, fire extinguishers, ductile, iron pipe, and other water infrastructure products. In this position, she oversaw corporate-wide human resource compliance, employee outreach, diversity goals, and community outreach. Michelle is an active community volunteer. She is the immediate past chairman of the board of this fine institution, the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute. She also serves on the board of United Cerebral Palsy of Greater Birmingham, as well as a trustee for Miles Law School. She has previously served on the boards of such organizations as the Women's Fund, Impact Alabama, Vulcan Park and Museum, and the Legal Aid Society. Michelle is especially interested in health issues that impact minority communities and has devoted her time to raising funds and awareness for organizations such as the Sickle Cell Foundation of Central Alabama, the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, the American Diabetes Association, and UAB's Minority Health Disparities Research Center. I present to you Michelle Clemens. Let's give her a round of applause. I told you I'm laid back. Just follow my lead. I'm not going to lead you wrong. All right. Our next speaker is Kelly Caulfield. Go ahead, Kelly, this way. Okay, all right. And Kelly Caulfield is an entrepreneur with business operations in Birmingham, Port Allen, Louisiana, and New Orleans. In 2007, Ms. Caulfield co-founded DCM Organizations, LLC, which owns and operates a Quiznos sub shop located in Port Allen, Louisiana. In 2008, Ms. Caulfield co-founded John Ramsey LLC, now CHRG LLC, a franchise holding company that owns and operates 2 Quiznos shops in Hoover, Alabama. In January 2008, Kelly incorporated the Ernest Lee Caulfield Foundation, dedicated to her late father, and focuses on helping support the intellectual, social, and cultural development of disadvantaged youth in Birmingham. In 2011, she founded NOLA Ice. Oh, she got a whole lot of businesses. A mobile food truck specializing in authentic New Orleans snowballs. And you have to get that terminology correct, or she will correct you. So she serves on numerous committees and boards in Birmingham and New Orleans. She's a 2000 graduate of John Carroll Catholic High School in Birmingham, Alabama, and in 2004 earned a bachelor's degree in political science with a concentration in history and philosophy from Xavier University. I present to you Kelly Caulfield. And our next speaker is Ms. Johnson. She joined the Community Foundation as a Senior Vice President of Grants and Initiatives in 2012. I believe she's been on the job for about 4 months. 4 months. She previously worked for the United Way of Central Alabama, the American Red Cross, the Rose Community Foundation, and W.K. Kellogg Foundation. She's a native of New York State and a graduate of Smith College with a Master of Social Services from Bryn Mawr College. Bryn Mawr. I was close. And a Master's of Science in Health Policy and Management from Howard University. She and her husband, Steve Crocker, live in Birmingham. Ms. Marguerite Johnson. And our last speaker is Bob Dickerson. Mr. Dickerson has spent his career finding ways to get money into the hands of people. For years, he did this as a commercial and consumer lending officer while working at several large foundations financial institutions. Today, he does it as Executive Director of Birmingham Business Resource Center and as a Chief Executive Officer of Foundation Capital, a small business administration certified development company. Bob founded the BBRC in 1996, and BBRC assists with projects that range from a few $1,000s to ones that go as high as several million. The program that BBRC manages has originated nearly $400 million in loans to businesses since 1996. Mr. Dickerson has spent his career finding ways to get money into the hands of people. For years, he did this as a commercial and consumer lending officer while working at several large financial institutions. Today, he does it as Executive Director of Birmingham Business Resource Center and as a Chief Executive Officer of Foundation Capital, a small business administration certified development company. Bob founded the BBRC in 1996, and BBRC assists with projects that range from a few $1,000s to ones that go as high as several million. The program that BBRC manages has originated nearly $400 million in loans to businesses since 1996. He is a graduate from Tuskegee Institute in 1973 with a degree in business administration. He has worked several financial institutions, but has said working for Birmingham business icon A.G. Gaston may have been the greatest moment in his career. I present to you Mr. Bob Dickerson. All right. And so we'll begin with what I've done. I've sent each one of them a question and to think about, to talk about on tonight. And so I'm going to begin with Michelle. And so the question is, well, one, how do you give, and what does legacy mean to you, and why is it important?
Okay. There's a lot going on in those questions, but we'll try to tackle it. It's a pleasure to be. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Great. It's a pleasure to be here. I would not describe whatever I'm about to say as a speech, but just some sharing and a conversation. So please feel free to interrupt, ask questions. It's a conversation. It's a dialogue. How do I give? Lloyd has talked a bit about some of the organizations that I am involved with or have been involved with, but you can put my philanthropy, if you will, in 3 categories: donations, board participation, and direct service to the community. I love this idea of philanthropy being a creative expression of giving. That's just so powerful to me, because when you think of expressing yourself or oneself, that's really a personal and intimate act, right? I mean, that's really you reaching within yourself and showing others what's important to you. And so I love this idea of philanthropy being more than just cutting a check. Because I know for me, of all the things I do, cutting a check is the least significant. For me, giving my time is my biggest sacrifice, because you can't get time back. You might be able to make that money back, but you're not going to get that time back, or you might not get those resources back, or that chip you called in to provide resources to others back. So I just wanted to acknowledge that I love this theme of illuminating creative expressions of giving. So I give through donations boards and serving the community directly, and when I distinguish board participation from direct community service because I think it's important to serve on boards and to learn about the organizations that are important to you and the board governance piece. It's equally as important, in my opinion, to get directly involved with customers in the community that are in need of services. And but for my membership in Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, I probably wouldn't have had as many opportunities to get that direct customer experience. But that for me has been the main route through which I've gotten it. For me, how I give and my strategy about giving, I've found and realized over time, is figuring out how to connect pieces that might look incongruent otherwise, and how to develop strategic partnerships. I'm a former member of the Women's Fund of Birmingham, and during my time on the board, one of our genius board members came up with this idea of applying for money that came out of the settlement from the smoking, the cigarette, the big tobacco settlement, and applied for a grant to use the money towards a program called Cut It Out. And it trained barbers and hairstylists on how to talk to women and clients who may have been victims of domestic violence. If you think about that relationship between a hairstylist and his or her customers, that can be pretty personal. Personal things get shared in that chair in hopefully an hour or two, no more than two, but sometimes more. And so who would have thought to not only go after those funds, but to use it for such a unique person and for such a unique purpose. And when you think of strategic partnerships and thinking beyond what you can see, for me, that's a great example of that. Do I need to move this even closer? Okay, thank you. Now I can hear myself. And so philanthropy is about connection. And for me, I'm always looking in my leadership roles in different organizations, I'm always looking how to connect people and how can I be that resource between two organizations or two people that are trying to do good, but they need one another but don't know one another. And so trying to be that connector, I think, is where I try to bring the most value. Moving on to the question of what legacy means to me. Of my homework assignment, that question stumped me the most, but I kind of think of legacy in two ways. There's a legacy that you might consider foundational or relational, and it's the foundation that your forebears or the people that preceded you, be it your family, your community, your sorority, your fraternity, whomever, that what they did that lays the foundation, and they have that legacy. And then you have your second part, which is the individual legacy, which is what am I going to do to advance the ball beyond the foundational piece? And how you tie those two together, whether you decide to do the things that your forebears did in the way that they did, or whether you want your individual legacy to be a part of the foundational piece, but to look different and to be a different expression. So for me, that's the legacy piece, and I'm always looking for, is my legacy consistent with the overall theme of what my forebears did, and would it make them proud? And on an individual level, am I fulfilled in what I'm doing? The final question that I had was, why is philanthropy important? And there's so many, we could call out so many reasons why, I think, just within this room. But, for me, it's always a reminder, especially when I get to deal with the direct customer in the community, that there but for the grace of God go I. Like, that could be me, but for me being blessed with steady income, supportive family structure. So it's always a timely reminder of that. And you never know what type of seeds you're planting, not only in the organization or the person that you're serving, but frankly, you don't know how those seeds might grow in your own personal life. And so there's kind of that unintended but great consequence of giving, that sometimes your giving manifests itself back in your life in some way. And giving is important when you get to the point where it's not transactional, but it's transformative. And that goes back to planting the seed, because that's a transformative experience and process and moment. And so the importance of being aware that when you're giving, it's just as much about you as it is the entity that you're giving to, and that you have something that you can actually get from it. And not that you should do it expecting to get something, but it's always great when you find out that you've been blessed because of what you've done, that you didn't even think in terms of being significant, but it meant the world to the person that you were giving to. So